We're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs.
President Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at dismantling the Department of Education, a move that aligns with long-standing conservative efforts to shift control of education from the federal government to the states. This executive order marks a significant step toward reducing federal oversight and increasing state and local authority over educational policies.
Despite these breathtaking failures, the department's discretionary budget has exploded by 600% in a very short period of time. My administration will take all lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. It's doing us no good. We want to return our students to the states.
On the same day as the announcement, Representative Michael Rulli of Ohio confirmed his intention to introduce legislation that would enshrine the executive order into law. Without such legislative action, a future administration could easily reverse the decision. Rulli emphasized that his bill would closely mirror Trump's order, ensuring that essential education programs such as Pell Grants, Title I funding for low-income schools, and support for students with disabilities remain intact but under different federal departments. The Department of Education, established in 1979, has played a central role in federal education funding and policymaking. However, critics argue that it has become inefficient and overly bureaucratic. Supporters of the executive order, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, contend that decentralizing education will lead to better outcomes by allowing local authorities to address the specific needs of their communities. There are differing opinions within the Republican Party regarding the extent of the changes. While Rulli's bill seeks to codify the executive order's principles, Representative Thomas Massie has introduced a separate bill advocating for the complete abolition of the Department of Education by the end of 2026. Despite Republican backing in the House, passing such legislation in the Senate presents a significant challenge. The bill would require at least 7 Democratic votes to meet the 60-vote threshold, an unlikely scenario given widespread opposition from Democratic lawmakers. Another area of concern is the future of federal student loans. Indicates that the Education Department will no longer oversee its $1.6 trillion loan portfolio. However, the specifics of which entity will take over these responsibilities remain unclear. This development represents a major shift in the structure of the U.S. education system, with substantial implications for students, educators, and policymakers. The outcome will depend on legislative negotiations and potential legal challenges shaping the future of federal involvement in education policy. While the dismantling of the Department of Education aims to decentralize control, it raises concerns about the continuity of student financial aid, enforcement of civil rights, and equitable distribution of resources. The full impact will depend on how these changes are implemented and managed in the coming months. For more such news analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Macro Story.